Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadare Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada, Paramahamsa, Brave Jankacharya, Asatyosa Shishiman, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnavani Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Prem Sikha Hoshri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopiyas Samakam, Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavandam Ki Jai, Shri Maya Parnavadam Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Somaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Gaur Hemanandi. All glory is some devotees, all glory is some devotees, all glory is some devotees, all glory is Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text number 23. Kapayusang Sthanajayat Punar Bhavat Shanayusang Bharata Bhujayo Param Shanena Martina Kritang Manasvina Sanyasya Sangyanti Abhayam Param Hare Kapayusang Sthanajayat Punar Bhavat Shanayusang Bharata Bhujayovaram Janena Martina Kritang Manasvinaha Sanyasya Sangyan Yabayam Badam Hare Kapayusam Sthanajayat Punar Bhavat Shanayusang Bharata Bhujayovaram Janena Martina Kritam Manasvinaha Janyasya Sangyan Yabayam Badam Hare Kapayushang sthana jayat punarbhavat Sanayushang bharata pujayo varam Sanena marjena kutam manasvinaha Sanyasi sangyan yabayam padang hare Bharata pujayo varam Sanena marjena kutam manasvinaha Sanyasi samyan yabayam param hare. Kapaya samsara jayat punarbhava Snaya sambharta bhujayo varam Sanena marjena kutam manaspinaha Sanyasi samyat vayam param hare. Kapaya samsthana jayat punarbhava Sanaya sambharta bhujayo varam Sanena martina kutam vivasraha Sanyasi samyat vayam param hare. Kapa ayusam, of those who have a life during or a duration of many millions of years, like Lord Brahma, Asthana Jayat, then achievement of the place or planetary systems, Punabhavat, which is liable to birth, death and old age. Shana ayusam are persons who have only 100 years of life. Bharata Bhujayaha, a birth in the land of Bharatvarsh. Varam, more valuable. Shanena, for such a short life. Marchena, by the body. Kritam, the work executed. Manasvinaha, those actually understanding the value of life. Sanyasya, surrendering unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Samyanti, they achieve. Abhayam, where there is no anxiety. Param, the abode. Hare, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsh is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatvarsh in a lower planetary system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus, one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. Purport. This is further confirmation of the statement given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bharata bhumite hoila manusha janma jar. Janma sartkari karapar upakar. One who has taken birth in the land of Bharadvars has a full opportunity to study the direct instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and thus finally decide what to do in his human form of life. One should certainly give up all other propositions and surrender to Krishna. Krishna will then immediately take charge and relieve one of the results of past sinful life. Aham tam sarvapavibhyo mokshyashyami masaja. Therefore one should take to Krishna consciousness, as Krishna himself recommends. Manmana bhavamadbhakto majjajimam namaskuru. Bhagavad Gita 18:65. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer me obeisances. This is very easy, even for a child. Why not take this path? One should try to follow the instructions of Krishna exactly, and thus become fully eligible to be promoted to the kingdom of God. Tyaktva dehang punar janma naiti mam eti sorjana. Bhagavad Gita 4:9. One should go directly to Krishna and engage in his service. This is the best opportunity offered to the inhabitants of Bharadvars. One who is fit to return home, back to Godhead, is no longer liable to the results of karma, good or bad. Om Jnana Tamanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurum Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukham Kotavatalam Pangunang Hayate Grim Yat Kripata Laham Bande Sigurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. This word manasvina means those actually understanding the value of life. Very few people on this planet understand the value of life. They think that this life is meant for sense gratification. Bas. That's it. Just satisfying the senses as much as possible. Get as much money as one can and enjoy the senses as much as they can. This is what is considered to be very valuable. But Krishna, he says, what is actually valuable is mentioned here in the purport. Prabhupada says, always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. So this is what's actually valuable, to think of Krishna. We have to think of something. Everybody's always thinking of something. So we got to think of Krishna. This is valuable. We think of Krishna, then we get purified. The mind becomes purified, the heart becomes purified, and one becomes free of illusion. So this is actually what is valuable. And here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions this verse again. Just 2 verses earlier, Prabhupada mentioned this verse. Bharata bhumite hoile manusha janmajar janma sarkar karapara upakar. That those who have taken their birth in the land of Bharadvars has a full opportunity to study the direct instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and thus finally decide what to do in this human form of life. I was speaking to one person in the Sunday Feast program a few weeks ago, and he didn't know what to do with his life. And he asked his mother, "What should I do?" She said, "I haven't a clue." I don't know what you should do. I don't know what I should do. There's no guidance. There's no Brahmins. There's no guidance. The so-called intelligentsia, I think Prabhupada mentions here, the professors, even the Prabhupada he was talking about, Professor Kataski, learned scholar of Hinduism. Swamiji, when the body dies, that's it. It's all over. Prabhupada was shocked. Here's someone who's been studying the Vedas. Atheism is just like so rampant throughout the world. And these are the leaders, the scholars, the scientists, and practically all atheists. There's no good guidance. So fortunately, Prabhupada came, and he gave us so much knowledge. So it's mentioned here that those who take birth in Bharadvarsha are very fortunate because they get the opportunity to hear about Krishna. They get to hear the Bhagavad Gita. Right? But Prabhupada is so munificent that he's made it available for everyone in the world. Everyone in the world can hear about Krishna. In China, even the government sponsored printing the Srimad Bhagavatam in China. I mean, that's how it's become evolved, in spirituality, and even such atheistic places as there's, in China there's no name for God. You can't express the word God. It's not in the Chinese language. It's amazing. But they had the Srimad Bhagavatam printed, and it's in I don't know how many libraries. It's in some libraries there. So this is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And what's interesting is after this verse, this is Lord Chaitanya spoke this verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The next verse is Etavad Janma Sapayam Dehinam Ihadehishu Prana Artha Dhyavacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. He says it's a duty. Actually, this verse was spoken by Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That it's a duty of everyone to give their life, their prana, to give their life for the benefit of others. And what better way to give our life for the benefit of others than going out and distributing Prabhupada's books? Yeah, it's very practical. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm getting there. So prana, to give one's life, and so many devotees do it. They're giving their life to distributing Prabhupada's books. Now, so some devotees have been distributing books for over 50 years. Vaisesika, we started in 73? So yeah, it's 49 years. And inspiring devotees also. Whew, I don't know what we're going to do without Vaisesika. I was speaking to him yesterday. We were having a nice discussion about book distribution. So, yeah, we got to give our life, if we can, to giving this knowledge out, and also giving the holy name. Had Harinam on the 4th of July. How was that?
Good.
A lot of people got to hear the holy name.
People were stepping.
Yeah. Yeah. People chanting.
People chanting.
Stumbling. 4th of July. So, yeah, giving the holy name, giving prasadam, giving the knowledge out to others. This is our life, giving Krishna. This is a movement of giving. Giving. The mercy of Krishna. So prana, artha, to give one's wealth. It's like some devotees, they join the movement and they just give all their wealth. Well, most of the time we don't have much, but I think I gave $50 or something. Give their wealth to Krishna. It's like we have Ambarish Prabhupada said, Ambarish Maharaj. Given millions. We have Bhakta Joseph here, who's given so much also to Krishna. And Bhakta Michael also, he's giving so much. So many devotees are giving their wealth to Krishna. But you know what the standard was? 50%. 50%. That's not easy. I know of 2 people that were able to give 50%, and they're both doctors. Successful doctors. It's not easy. Huh? Yeah, 50%. Yeah, because it's so hard to maintain now. Even it's said that in Kali Yuga, if a man could maintain his family in Kali Yuga, it's like maintaining a kingdom in other ages. Kali Yuga, it's so difficult to just maintain a family. So it's difficult to give 50%. But Prabhupada was emphatic on that. You got to give 50%. I think in most religions, like 10%, I think, in most religions, which is a little easier. So prana, artha, diya, you got to give our intelligence to Krishna, and how to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said we should rack our brain. What was it? The word? Tax our brains. Tax our brains on how to spread Krishna consciousness. Always thinking of innovative ways to give Krishna to others. I think Vaiseshika Prabhu, he's got the record of innovative ways of spreading Krishna consciousness. Always coming up with different ways. It's amazing. He just comes up with so many different ideas. Krishna's inspiring him from within. Taxing our brain, how to give Krishna to others, how to spread this Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Like sometimes when we're distributing books, people, they come up with many excuses on why they don't want to take a book. Krishna gives them, the intelligence. It's like Prabhupada said, even Krishna gives the atheists, they don't want to believe in God, so he gives them, all right, you don't believe in me, all right, I'll give you ideas of how I don't exist. They have prasadam, they have. Dimitri is on top of it. So they're thinking of how or why I don't want to take a book. Oh, it's too heavy. I tell them, this book is so heavy, it'll carry you. Or actually another one is that especially at the park, I can't carry it. I got a bag. Okay, you got a bag. All the Sankirtan devotees should have bags, because a lot of times they take the book just because I have a bag. Many people. You have bags? We'll get some for you. So many excuses they have. Well, I'm Christian. That's all right. We're not trying to change your belief. There's always more to learn about God, right? Okay, that's true. All right. What are some other excuses? I got my own. Well, that's. I hate religion. I hate religion. This is not religion. This is science. And Dhruta Karmapu, he says, he goes to the 18th chapter, abandon all varieties of religion. He just stops there. Abandon all. See, we're abandoning religion here. It's okay. Okay. What other excuses do they have? Why not to take a book? No time. Just 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds.
So
Yeah. And sometimes when they say, well, I don't have time, then I ask them, well, how old are you? 45. 45? Come on, you got 40 years ahead of you, maybe. So much time ahead of you. Yeah?
I don't like to read.
Huh?
I don't like to read.
I don't like to read. That's a tough one. When they say I don't like to read, what can you say to that? All right.
Say give it to a friend, right?
Yeah, give it to a friend. Maybe a friend can read it to you. There's a good one. See, now we're coming out with reasons, ways to overcome their excuses when you have discussion like this. Have a friend read it to you. Have a friend that might be interested in this stuff, right? You know, yoga, meditation. He can read it to you, or she can read it to you. Yeah.
Look at the pictures.
Yeah, look at the picture. They're nice pictures.
You could maybe say that they don't like to read because they've never read something worth reading.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Actually, there was one instance where a Mataji was distributing books. I got this story recently, and the girl said, you know, I've never read a book in my life. And the Sankirtan devotee said, well, this is one book you should read. And she said, all right. She was so enthusiastic. She said, all right. She took the book. Yeah. Hopefully she's reading it. Now there's one that I couldn't reply to. I never learned how to read. In Australia, there's people that live out in the boondocks, never learn how to read. Can't say anything to that. Or you could say, well, have a friend read it to you.
This will help you learn how to read.
You can learn how to read with this book here.
Can we say that the books have spiritual potency just being in their homes too?
Yeah. Vaisesika Prabhu, he says that he was in the airport in San Francisco, and this lady said, yeah, I have no time to read. It's not possible. I just can't. I never have time to read. And he said, if you just have this book in your house, it'll create auspiciousness in your life. If you just have it in your house. So, you know, Vaisesika, he's got that purity. He said, okay. She said, okay. Gave a donation. Then she took off, and 5 minutes later she came back, and he's engaging somebody, and she waves the book. She said, it's already working. I just got an upgrade to first class. You see, I told you. So yeah, just having the book in the home, it's like a deity. It's Krishna. Just like there were some devotees, they wanted to install deities in their Sankirtan van. Prabhupada said, not necessary. You have books. Books are the deities. You can worship the books. And therefore we're very respectful to the books. And for just a little side, in the book room, I notice sometimes the books are laid all cockeyed, and, you know, in the boxes, and, you know, not good. The books have to be. This is also that book room over there is also it's like an altar. You know, there's deities in there, so we have to take care of the books very nicely, put them away nicely when we get back, and everything has to be very neat and clean. You know, it's Krishna's living there. He's there. So, I wanted to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita this verse and purport. Lord Chaitanya, he quoted this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the purport, he says, there are two kinds of general activities: shreyas, or activities which are ultimately beneficial and auspicious, and prayas are those which are immediately beneficial and auspicious. For example, children are fond of playing. Who used to play? Krishna would play with his friends, and the parents would be calling him back. Come on, Krishna, it's time for dinner. He's like, nothing doing. I'm not going. He just wants to play. Kids, isn't it? We just want to play, isn't it? School. They had to drag Prabhupada to school. He just wanted to play. You know, that's what kids, they just want to play. Immediately gratification. They do not want to go to school and receive an education. And they think that to play all day and night and enjoy with their friends is the aim of life. This is the goal of life. The aim of life is to just play. And pretty much that's the mood, you know. People, they just want to enjoy life. It's like here in PB, and people come here, they want immediate gratification. They come and get drunk so they can get loose and just, just say foolish things and do foolish things, and they want that immediate gratification, but it costs them something. Alcohol must be very expensive now. All these things, drugs, alcohol, very expensive to get just some flickering pleasure, to get loose and try to enjoy this world, some flickering happiness. Even in the transcendental life of Lord Krishna, we find, here it is, that when he was a child, he was very fond of playing with his friends of the same age, the cowherd boys. He would not even go home to take his dinner. Mother Yasoda would have to come out to induce him to come home. And how did she even she couldn't do it. What did she finally do? Yeah, she said, Nanda Maharaj is waiting. He's not going to eat until you come. And they thought, oh my God, father's waiting. So then he decided, all right, we have to go. But then his friend said, Krishna, we were at the highest level of pleasure. You're leaving now, and we're not going to let you play with us anymore. And then he's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can go. He was like, I don't know, what should I do? Very interesting. Mother Yasoda would come out to induce him to come home. And then, or thus it is a child's nature to engage all day and night in playing, not caring even for his health and other important concerns. This is the example of prayas, or immediately beneficial activities. But there are also shreyas, or activities which are ultimately auspicious. According to the Vedic civilization, a human being must be God-conscious. He should understand what God is. So Prabhupada points out 4 things here about shreyas. What God is, what this material world is, who He is, and what their interrelationship is with each other. This is called shreyas, or ultimate auspicious activities. So this is what we're giving. We're giving out knowledge by which people can understand what is God, who is God. Krishna. People haven't a clue. Like in some religions, they think that God is not even a person. I was speaking to one Christian a couple of weeks ago. He said, so you think God's a person? Well, yeah. You're supposed to love God. How are you going to love God if He's just energy? How can you love? You can't speak. Yeah, well, he said, you think, yeah, he said, well, so you think God's a person? I said, well, yeah, how are you going to love someone that's not a person? How can you can't even speak to him? Just energy. How can you love energy? No, you can embrace God, you can love God, you can speak to God. So it's amazing. And in the Muslim religion, you can't even say a name. You can't, there's no name. Yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty heavy. You can't say a name. What to speak of a person? So we're giving out so much wonderful information about God. It is the greatest need of society. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, the only lack in society is Krishna consciousness. So we have to fill that lack in society by giving out this knowledge of Krishna. So to give knowledge of God, to give knowledge of ourself, people are so absorbed in the body they can't imagine that there's something different from the body. It's like when I think it was Sridhar Maharaj, and he was preaching in Mexico City, and one reporter was speaking about the spiritual life, and Sridhar Maharaj said to her that you're not this body, and she said, well, then whose body am I? Just couldn't imagine not being, well, I'm not this body, then whose body am I? Just can't imagine, not being a body. Whose body am I? Just so bewildered. So we're giving so much information about the soul. Yeah. And then Prabhupada mentions about the world. What's the purpose of this world? The purpose of this world is to wake us up. It's to wake us up. And therefore, it's stated, Dukkhalyam Ashashvatam. It's a place of suffering. Yeah. When people go through difficulties in their life, people that are a little sincere, they turn to God. Yeah. So it's actually a blessing in disguise when people go through difficulty. It's like I was speaking to Brigapati Prabhu yesterday also. He said that the place where he does best on book distribution is in the poorest areas of Los Angeles. He goes on the internet, poorest areas of Los Angeles, and that's where he goes. And that's where he does best. But if he goes to these places that are kind of, they got some bucks, don't bother me. Huh? What did you say? Beverly Hills. Yeah, you go to some ritzy place, practically impossible. But you go to poor people, they're kind of like down to earth. They've gone through struggles and yeah. And when I was in Denver, I was this homeless person who was going around asking for a donation, and he mentioned to me that the people that give donations to me more than anyone else are the homeless people. I was like, wow, really? The homeless people. They give donations to the homeless.
How's it possible?
Well, they give something. They don't have much to give, but they give something. Because they've been there. They're struggling, and they see another person struggling, they want to help. So, and a sincere person will want to try to understand who is God, who I am, and what the relationship is. Yeah. So here, Lord Chaitanya, he goes on to say, by his work, thoughts and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and the next. Prabhupada says, unfortunately, people in general do not know what is to take place in the next life. To prepare oneself for his next life is common sense. Unfortunately, in this age, it's hard to find someone that has, it's uncommon to find someone with common sense. And it is a principle of the Vedic civilization, but presently people throughout the world do not believe in a next life. Even influential professors and other educators say that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. This atheistic philosophy is killing human society. People are irresponsibly performing all sorts of sinful activities, and thus the privilege of the human life is being taken away by the educational propaganda of the so-called leaders. Then he goes on to say, I am merely a gardener. I have neither a kingdom nor very great riches. I simply have some fruits and flowers that I wish to utilize to achieve piety in my life. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking. Prabhupada says in the purport, in performing welfare activities for human society, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presents himself as being not very rich, thus indicating that a man need not be rich or opulent to act for the welfare of human society. Sometimes rich men are very proud that they can perform beneficial activities for human society, whereas others cannot. Then Lord Chaitanya goes on to say, although I am acting as a gardener, I also want to be the tree, for thus I can bestow benefit upon all. And then he quotes from I think this is also from the 10th canto. Just see how these trees are maintaining every living entity. Their birth is successful. Their behavior is just like that of great personalities. For anyone who asks anything from a tree never goes away disappointed. And Prabhupada says, according to the Vedic civilization, Kshatriyas are considered to be great personalities because if anyone goes to a Kshatriya, king, to ask for charity, the king will never refuse. The trees are compared to those noble Kshatriyas because everyone derives all kinds of benefits from them. Some people take fruit, others take flowers, others take leaves, others take twigs, and others even cut the tree, and they also give shade. And yet the tree gives to everyone without hesitation. Then Lord Chaitanya goes on to say, the descendants of the tree, the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are very glad to receive this order directly from the Lord. So the devotees were happy to hear that Lord Chaitanya wanted to distribute this message far and wide. So is any question? Javita Prabhu has a Sankirtan story. Jai. Now we're going to churn the nectar.
This relates to your part of your talk where you're talking about how we have to be careful with the books and they're actually deities. Prabhupada talked, that you don't have to have special deities. So, especially we're focusing on sometimes distributing full sets of Bhagavatams. That's a very important part of our distribution.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to participate, you were there, in the completion of the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada, as you may not know, he got as far as the 13th chapter of the 10th canto. That's over 100 chapters left in the 10th, 11th, and 12th cantos. So I arrived in September of '83, and I was working with Vinod Maharaj and Gopi Prananda Prabhu chiefly. And we're moving along. But as time went on, the production kind of stalled, let's put it that way, for various reasons. And so the manager then, our old friend, Dineshwar Prabhu, he suggested that we go up to the temple and we create a little altar with the books that had been printed. There were already some of the 11th canon was done, as you recall. We had some books that had already been printed. I think the 12th canon, we were working on the 10th canon. And we have an actual arti for the deities of the books. And we circumambulate and we pray that we get the mercy and that the production can go on nicely. So we did that. The production crew, Gopi was there, I was there, Dineshwar, maybe Dukahantri, whatever, no, Yashoda. And after that, things started to improve. We were able to get it done. It took 6 years, which shouldn't have taken, but we were able to actually finish the whole project. So this I regard as a proof, that the books are definitely worshipable, and they should be treated with great care and devotion. Yeah. And practically speaking, for us, it will enthuse us to distribute them, and to read them, and to hear them and discuss them. So it's an important part.
Yeah, another thing is that when devotees are selling sets, give them the mic. When devotees are selling sets to devotees or to people, they offer, well, if you take the set, I'll bring it to your home and I'll install it. They install sets. They do a whole artik and everything, and the kirtan, and it's a whole thing, installing the Srimad Bhagavatam set in their homes. You did that too? Yeah. Yeah, I did that also at Michael's place. Yeah, I sold a set to him, and we installed it. Had artik and kirtan and the whole thing. Uh-huh. Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to also mention is that a big part of spreading Krishna consciousness, of getting this message out, is that we have to have some compassion. Yeah, it's not an easy thing. Occasionally, I feel some compassion out there, and it really feels good, you know. And they feel it too. They feel it, you know. If you're actually trying to help them, it's a wonderful feeling. So, and I'll tell you a nice story that happened in Germany. There was a devotee. It was the marathon. He was trying to do 100 big books, and it was a couple hours had gone by. He'd only done about 30, and it was cold, and it was, you know, Germany, in the wintertime. There was one lady, homeless lady, you know, leaning against a wall. You know, wasn't covered properly, just cold and miserable. And he was thinking, well, maybe. Actually, she said, "What do you have there?" "Oh, I have some books here." "How much they cost?" And he told her, "Well, just a couple of euros." We'd ask for more, but usually ask for more. But he was just poor, homeless. "Yeah, a couple of euros." And she gave a couple of euros, and he gave the book to her. And then he went off, continuing to distribute books. But he stayed around that area. And then he was thinking, she's hungry and she's cold. Maybe I should, you know, heat up some dal for her. But then I'm going to lose, you know, 20 minutes. I could be distributing so many books. So his mind was, you know, he was wrangling his mind there. But then he just decided, "Are you hungry?" "I am very hungry." "All right, I'll get something for you." So he went. He spent like 20, 30 minutes, you know, getting some, you know, prasad for her. And then he brought it to her, and she was so happy. And then she said, "You know, I have some more. I'll give you some more." He said, "No, that's okay. No, I want to give you some more." So he gave her a couple more euros or something. And she was so happy. And then the books just flew. Krishna saw that compassion in him, and he was amazed that so many people were taking books. Krishna's in the heart of everyone, so he saw that compassion of that devotee, and he did his 100 books earlier than he expected. He had been struggling so much, and then Krishna just, you know, as he said, Krishna just opened the curtain, just let it flow. Yes, Balaram Prabhu.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, there's this family here, the South Indian family that just came in.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And yeah, they seem to be quite a pious group, but Deva Rata Prabhu looks like he picked up on that, and then he went out there and he said, you all want a Bhagavatam set? And they said, okay. So they got a Bhagavatam set, and
you just now sold the Bhagavatam set.
Sent it to their house.
Wow, that's on the ball, man. Deva Rata's on the ball, man. Haribo.
So that was good.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Huh? Oh, now this is the first time that's ever happened. A family that I know of, a family comes into the Bhagavatam class, a Sankirtan devotee checks that out, they leave, you know, whoop, he goes, "Hey, you want a Bhagavatam set? All right, I'll take it." I don't know, in 44 years, I don't know if that ever happened. That won't be the first time now, especially now after he did that. You know, now whenever a family comes in and leaves, some devotee's going to jump up and go, "Hey, do you want a Bhagavatam?" He started something now. Thank you. Very good. Anything else?
Did you want to say something?
No. Anything on Zoom? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki